Welcome to another book talk with Tracy. I thought it would be an interesting change to talk about what's on my bookshelves, especially since I just finished putting these shelves up. I moved recently and just got the books on the shelves very recently. So today we're going to have a look at what's on my shelves and maybe talk about what's on your shelves too. So one thing that I love and have always loved is Shakespeare. So I have a whole entire shelf dedicated to Shakespeare. I've got everything from, some sticker books and some lovely illustrated books, children's books, to a very funny version. I love this one, The Reduced Shakespeare. It's very tongue-in-cheek. To several, copies of things. Here's the complete works, of course. This is a really fun one. It's actually it's Shakespeare written as a Star Wars trilogy. It's just fantastic. I love it. I guess these aren't Shakespeare, but they're classics. And then we have this entire set of Shakespearean stories that are written for children. I've got lots of old ones here that I've collected. So Shakespeare is definitely on the top of my list in terms of things to read and that I love, and it's also on the top shelf. And speaking of top shelf, another shelf, this one's just full of Bibles. So I have a lot of different versions that, we've collected over the years. This one's kind of a favorite. It's a New American Standard, but we have various ones with commentaries. We've got, NIV, study Bibles, New King James, King James. So this is one of the first ones that I had when I was a teenager. I got that, and then when I got saved, I was reading that a lot. So it's in pretty rough shape. We've got some one-year Bibles, which I have enjoyed over the years, and the Message. And this one, which I have been really enjoying, it's a First Nations version, which is kind of fun. Just the language is very different, but certainly I think you can tell a lot about a person by what's on their bookshelves. And in this case, obviously I am a Christian, and it's great to have lots of different Bibles besides online ones, because I do that. I listen a lot too. Moving along to the next top shelf. So I've got three separate shelves. This one is more Bible commentaries, Bible studies. The 5 love languages was always a favorite. The Bait of Satan. Everybody should read that one, talking about not taking offense to things. Here's one, Equipped. It's Ephesians devotional by Ruth Snyder, which I've really enjoyed. Various devotional books and commentaries, things like that. So I do tend to do a lot of that type of thing online these days, but I do have a shelf full as well. As I said, I just recently moved, and so just got some books back on the shelf. And when I moved, I culled a lot of books. Every time I move, I've culled. I at one point probably had 7 or 8 shelves full, and then recently, 4 full. And now I've even got some empty space, as you can see. You've got some empty spaces here. And so I did get rid of a lot of things, but there's certain books that I just can't get rid of. I feel attached to, or whatever. This set of art books I actually got as a gift from my parents when I graduated from university. And I was an art major, so I do have a lot of other art books, and some of them are just lovely. I mean, there's nothing to look through a book at some of the beautiful illustrations and paintings and stuff. I mean, it's difficult to compare that to an online experience when you can just sit down with a book. And I have some other art books and things. As I said, I got rid of a lot, most of my teaching books and drama, and below that there's a few other sort of nonfiction and a few books on writing. As you can see, there's a lot of empty space on my shelves at the moment, and I have a lot of boxes of photographs down there. Moving over, everybody needs to have their working. I've got music books and things, yearbooks and things from work, and a whole shelf here of German language because I'm enjoying that right at the moment, learning German language, and photo albums. So those are some of the things on my shelves at the moment. And of course, as I mentioned, I have gotten rid of a lot of books, and I do most of my reading online now, especially fiction, but I do have a collection of fiction books that I just couldn't get rid of. Some of my favorite authors, as you can see, these lovely Ted Dekker series that are a hardcover series, and his other red, white, black, green series. Frank Peretti, has been one of my favorites for many years. So some of the hardcover and paperbacks of his that I have, I just couldn't get rid of them. Francine Rivers is another favorite. So I've got, her Mark of the Lion series, and then her series on women, the Descendants of Jesus. So that's kind of cool. Of course, there's the Narnia, C.S. Lewis. Who doesn't love that? And then just a few other random books that I've collected that I just didn't want to get rid of at this point. Of course, then I also have a whole shelf of my own books that I've had published over the years. So one of the things that I've done is I've tried to keep at least one copy of each book that has come out in paperback. There are a couple that are only in ebook, but in the case of like this one, And the Beat Goes On, was my very first book, and it came out as a hardcover and then as a paperback, and then I also republished it when I got rights back as Conspiracy of Bones. So you'll see I have all the versions. The same with Play It Again. That was its original, and then it's had a couple of different covers since right here. And my devotional series is in both paperback and hardcover, so we've got those. So as books go through changes, again, My Mother the Man-Eater has had a couple of new covers. So that's my bookshelf, and then right below that are some children's books. And yes, I used to have a lot more on the shelf, but we culled a lot of those. There's a few classics left, and then this series was one that I had when I was a child. It's a whole series of books that I used to love to read. And in fact, I just read Alice in Wonderland to my grandkids very recently. These are some art books on artists. It's a fun series written for kids. So that's about it for my bookshelf right at the moment. As I said, I used to have they were full, and it was overflowing and doubled up. And now I've even got space on my shelves. So I guess that must mean I should buy some more books. I think that's what it means. So thanks for joining me today. I just wanted to show you what's on some of my bookshelves, my personal shelves. And I suppose someday maybe I'll show you my virtual shelves. I've got a lot of ebooks as well on through Amazon and elsewhere. And that seems to be the way I read a lot of books. But, there's just nothing like an actual physical copy. And there are some books that, you just can't get rid of. They're kind of like old friends. So I'd love to hear from you. What's on your shelves? In the meantime, you can visit me at tracykrauss.com, and we can have a little conversation. Bye for now.